Hi, and welcome to another episode of Monday Motivation brought to you by Dominate Your Day. I started Monday Motivation as a space for many episodes to share inspiring ideas and thoughts for leaders in the workplace. As a former corporate leader, I know what it feels like just to need a little boost of inspiration each week. So, in each episode, I will share a topic to motivate and empower you. So, this month is April, and we're talking about well being. And today, we're going to talk about productivity and well being. So I want you to be thinking about, as a corporate leader, what well-being is intrinsically linked to and how it's linked to productivity. And what I mean by that is we are more productive when we're feeling more energized, and we're more energized when we're living in our strengths. And I preach this all the time because I learned it myself, because I was days I would just feel like I was getting off the hamster wheel and I wasn't really energized. And it was because I wasn't living in my strengths every day. And I wasn't being, I didn't feel like my well being was at its best. And so we know that when well being is intricately linked to productivity, we soar. When our teams are well, they work well. So this week, let's infuse our productivity strategies with robust well-being practices that not only enhance output, but nurture our team's health. So here are a few tips I want you to think about this week. Um, One of the things I think, and I want you to be creative with this in the workplace. So how could you encourage active breaks? It might be fun if you're on a Zoom call to have everybody stop and do squats or run around their house or do something where they're being energized and they're doing a physical activity that's going to help them bring them more energy. I know for me, I'll do a Zoom call and then I'll go walk around the block and then I'll come back and I got the sun, I got there was just something in there that boosted my productivity. And then we want you to think about how you can use well-being as a lens to manage and distribute tasks fairly. So how do you think about your team, and how do you think about balancing their workload? And then how do you distribute that workload where everybody feels like one person? I hear this a lot in the workplace with teams I'm working with. Oh, they're doing way more, we're doing way more than that team over there, but they don't really know what that team over there is doing. And so just I think being aware of how people are seeing other teams and how they're seeing their workload, and making sure everybody understands that everything's been distributed fairly. And then when I think about productivity and I think about well being, I love this quote: productivity isn't about doing more things, it's about doing the right things with well being at heart. And I think those last three words were key: well being at heart. Um, how is my team doing? I was just talking to a leader yesterday, and her team just came off of a big launch and they're exhausted. And it's really making sure they were probably all energized at the beginning and they were passionate because it was a big thing, but afterwards giving them that time to rest, but making sure they're getting to do the things that really energize them. And that well-being at heart is huge. So I like to study different companies and what they're doing with well-being. And another company that I really like to follow is Motley Fool, and you all know them as the financial kind of gurus. They talk a lot on their podcasts and their articles about finances, but they also do some cool things within their company. And they encourage a 50%, they give employees a 50% reimbursement off race entries. And that perk gives the staff the opportunity to run races together and provides a way for people from different departments to spend time together off the clock. They also even help employees pick races to enter and help them train if they want to get into learning how to run and do a race. And their corporate wellness went up 86%. Proving that when you nurture the group's physical well-being, collective productivity naturally spikes. So what are some creative things you can do in the workplace, whether you're hybrid or you're meeting your team on a regular basis. So, some actual steps to think about is maybe come up with here's my ideation, but implement a Move It Monday challenge where every meeting includes some kind of quick physical activity. Um, or maybe you get your team and you subsidize them to participate in a community race. That way you get them to doing something together. They're also helping a cause, and they're having a social time. Um, and then you might even, the third thing you might think about is having them think about getting a productivity tracker or a framework like the Strengths Journal, which is what I created to help you really help me. And now it helps others really live each day intentionally and assign tasks for that day based on your unique talents. So, some resources I would love to share with you today are the Power of Full Engagement by Jim Loehr and Tony Schwartz. And then, as I mentioned, the Strengths Journal, you can find that on Amazon. Just type in the Strengths Journal Dana Williams. It is a 90-day journal where you can plan each day based on your unique talents and then look back at the week, figure out where your blind spots are, measure your well-being, and you're on your way to a really productive couple of 90 days. So I love sharing that with you. I want you to think about anything, ideas, or anything that you heard today that you can do differently based on what you've heard here. And just quickly before we finish, most listeners don't yet follow the podcast. So every additional follower we get helps us to raise the profile of the podcast and bring you more episodes. So if you could just do one thing for us today, and that's hit that follow button. And if you can do another thing for us today, ask a friend to follow as well. Thanks for listening and tune in next time. Bye.